This is a ground report by Newslaundry. Ground report, not 30, at least 79 people dead in Kumbh stampede suggest official records. Manisha, this is a report by Basant, right?
Yes, we've just put this story out today. Basant is on the ground in Prayagraj, and it has been very difficult to get the administration to, open up about how many deaths. And so much so that, when we're meeting people there also, relatives who've come to, either they're looking for missing loved ones or they know that, they have a relative who's died. When you look at the receipt that they're getting from the state governments, it doesn't have dates and it doesn't have cause of death. So it's becoming increasingly difficult for us to certain, how many people came on that day of the stampede and what was the cause of death. But we were able to access in one of the hospitals a hospital list, which basically says that 69 people had come on that day. They were all brought dead from the Kumbh, and this was as a result of the stampede because 69 people couldn't have died, on the same day. Uh, and they were brought dead. None of them were treated or injured. They were all brought dead. So we were able to access that. And then we've gone to another hospital where we've looked at another list, again, a hospital list that has uh, close to 11 bodies. So rounding that off, we think the number at least is 79, but this is still not the complete picture. Because what we also found from, again, many relatives was saying that when we are getting the receipt, sometimes the cause of death is heart attack. At other times, it's just unnatural causes. So it's not clearly written stampede victim, the authorities. And of course, they're doing this because they want to cover up the numbers. And presumably, because the last time there was a stampede in Kumbh, it was in 2013 under Samajwadi Party. There were 36 people who died at a railway station, and the same day as Mauni Amavasya again. So I feel like the administration will do everything to keep it below, what happened during the SP's rule, to say that, oh, look, so many people died, back then. With us, at least it was only 30.
What is their official figure now?
30. 30 is the
30.
official.
30 is the official
30 is the
figure.
official
30
figure.
is the official.
Okay.
Which I think is a gross underestimate because simply the number of people that we're meeting, what the two lists that we've seen, I mean, there's no one list just clearly says 69 brought dead from the Kumbh stampede.
So, Manisha, what I understand is that the administration hasn't followed proper procedure of sending them for postmortem to ascertain the cause of death and then hand it over to the families. It's not that procedure is also not being followed in this case, right? In an
Yeah,
attempt.
yeah, absolutely. In fact, in the Motilal Nehru Medical College, list that we were able to access, the 69 dead, none of them were subjected to a postmortem. They were just handed over. And again, the receipts that people were getting, once they identified the body and they were taking them back home, the receipts did not have a date and they didn't have cause of death. So there's just a complete, denial of what happened that night.
So now knowing them and their track record and how they kind of always are trying to question our findings on the ground, I'm imagining them coming back at you saying, give us proof for the fact that these other people are actually, victims of the stampede, that this person died of heart attack and that person died of suffocation or something. But how do you prove that it is? Do you think that
With this list, at least we're sure because it says that these are stampede deaths. And they were bought on the night of the stampede, basically, brought dead to the hospital from the Kumbh Mela. So 69 people couldn't have just all died of unnatural causes on that very same day and have been all brought dead. So, and of course, like the source that we've spoken to has told us that these are stampede deaths.
But I don't think the number will stop even at 79.
Because Samajwadi Party is claiming that a lot of bodies were disposed of into the Ganges, right?
Yes.
There is also that claim
Again?
that they are raising.
That's what they are alleging. No, see, my point is long ago, I mean, everything is long ago now, right? Long ago, when we were reporters, we used to say things like, whatever happens, you can't hide dead bodies, right?
Right,
Like,
yeah. That
eventually, the
will
number
show
will
up,
come
yeah.
out because you can't hide dead bodies. But I think after COVID, I've somehow left that hope that we can actually count dead bodies and understand. And like, for example, even in Karnataka, I think 3 or 4 people have died, right? I'm sure more people have died. But how do you get the numbers out at some
Well,
stage.
this is not, this was easy to say long ago because mainstream media had its beat reporters who did the job. They would know. Now it requires independent media to send their reporters and get there and do the job with the limited staff that they have to bring out these numbers, like the work that Newslaundry is doing now. But then we are not the mainstream media with having the beat reporters, having sources inside the, like, very local, regular people who have been on that beat for a long time. That kind of resources have died in mainstream media. Also, that stories that they are not interested in mainstream media, which makes it difficult to have these exact numbers in our
It's
hand
hard to
anymore.
differentiate between a news channel and an Astha or one of those, religious channel these
No,
days.
but why are more people not demanding these numbers? That is what really puzzles me. Like, for example, I myself have covered two really big stampedes. One which happened in Tamil Nadu. And I remember that day itself, they will give the list. Some 40 people had died. This was something free which was being distributed during Jayalalitha's time. They gave the entire list. There was no confusion. It never occurred to us at that time that they will try to hide the numbers of people
But
dead,
then,
right?
but then this also will be only possible when the government has a record of how many people are in that spot at that time. This is
But
how
Leena,
many.
there are dead bodies.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't like, for example, Manisha is saying that they have counted 69 names. I'm sorry, 79 names. The government is saying just 30. So you have not even included those 49 people. You are just, and why don't those families speak up? I mean, why are they not more? Manisha, is there a lot of talk
I think
about
the
this?
families are too harrowed right now. So, like for example, couple of points I want to make. Like we met one family that had come from Deoria, Uttar Pradesh, looking for their kin. And when they arrived at the hospital, the doctor told them, and this is all happening in front of our reporters. So this is all like eyewitness accounts of what we are seeing unfolding in front of us. The doctor said that had you come an hour late, we would have cremated the body. So there's just very quick cremations that are also happening. So these guys were shocked that, how could you have just cremated her anyway? Like they came in time and then they took the person, they took their person to back to the village and there was an ambulance arranged. I think most media houses that are there on the ground, they know the number. It is just what you're saying that it's hard to hide dead bodies. It is actually hard to hide something like this. I think it's willful censorship here. What you're seeing is just willfully ignoring what has happened. I refuse to believe that reporters on the ground who are able to talk to police officials, hospital officials, doctors in charge are unable to come to this number. Or simply when you're meeting people on the ground who are there to look for people who they've lost in the Mela, when you're talking to them and they're saying that, we know that we lost this person during the stampede and since then we've been looking for them. We found the dead body now. But the receipt says, unnatural cause or whatever. I mean, that's just, it's the story is right in front of you for anyone to report. So if they are not reporting, if the mainstream media today spent the entire morning talking about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's dubki in the Kumbh, right? Like 1 hour coverage of he's there, he's doing a parikrama, now he's putting his face, he's praying for the country, just non-stop running commentary and non-stop figures of how many people have bathed till now. Hourly updates we're getting. So many crore of people have, done the snan. X number of people have visited. If you can, by the hour, tell us how many people are present there. Why on earth can you not just give us a simple figure of what happened that night and how many people lost their lives? It's basic, and I think it's out there. It's just that a lot of the mainstream media, which is flush with Kumbh ads, the other thing that you'll see across mainstream news is a complete bombardment of UP government ads on the Kumbh. So you're just tired. You can't report on what's happened.
Oh, and that's one reason that you can, right? Because from the beginning you have said no ads. And that really has an impact on how the media house reports. I mean, it just exasperates me. I've been a journalist for 20 years. I think Leena and Sudhita almost same age, Pooja younger. But the point is, for a mainstream media, let's say I'm a television reporter. I've been a television reporter, right? If I am at the Kumbh and I am standing outside a morgue, I have to be given instructions specifically not to say any numbers, which means that instructions trickling down from the editor to the newsroom to the reporter, everybody in the chain knows. Why is nobody rebelling? Why can't 5 reporters just decide that I'm going to say the numbers, let this job go? I mean, I don't understand. It infuriates me that the entire system is so compromised now.
But the papers, I mean, these are channels we are discussing. What about the newspapers,
Yeah,
Manisha?
what about the newspapers?
Leela was talking about beat reporters earlier. But something like this would call for a special reporter to go over there or something, to do what Basant is doing.
So there's just theories. Bhaskar, for example, this was right, I think, within a day of the stampede. The reporter went inside the mob. She counted herself, and that's what pushed the Yogi administration to give a number. She counted about 20, and she said, I saw one body which had number 40 written on it. So I'm presuming 40 people at least came here. So Bhaskar did that, Reuters did that. But since then, we haven't had an official sort of a understanding on confirmed number of deaths. 79 is the first figure. A
No,
lot
I'm
of,
just
I
I'm
mean,
just
there's
also
political
wondering that.
parties are saying it could be 200, it could be 1,000, but this is an official list.
No, but the Yogi government also, I think he gave a soundbite, crying and he broke down and what have you. But how the entire administration has just put their hands up in the air and said, oh, 40 crore people came and there was nothing we could do and these kind of things happen.
I know where
There is
Pooja is
no,
going.
no,
Pooja has some scientific theory that she has been wanting to put forward about crowd control. Yes.
No, it isn't my theory because this happens time and again. I remember in 2016 or 14 or sometime in Andhra there was a stampede like this. Was it 70? We went after the chief minister. Nadu was the chief minister, and we didn't allow him to get away with. I couldn't do much because there were so many people, right? So there have been studies made done again and again to show how even if there are 40 crores, even if there are 50 crore people, basic things like ensuring that the flow of people is not obstructed, because when you're made to stand, when you're put in a cage for a long period of time, you get restless, and that's the first sign that there is a stampede that will happen. Second thing, common sense, no bottlenecks, because people then kind of converge and it'll lead to violence. Third thing, make sure that the entry and exit is staggered. Right? Don't allow people to just come together and leave together, because then obviously you can't control. Because I saw ads where they were bragging, Manisha, you would have seen more of these, that it is some AI digital Kumbh. That's what they're calling it.
I
And
thought AI means I, mother.
that is
Oh.
Marathi. These guys don't know Marathi.
No. Narendra Modi has said, right? I.
This AI thing, so they've been saying that we are using AI for missing people, to identify missing people. And everyone has dutifully put that down. That, AI is being used for the first time to find in the lost and found centers. There is no explanation of what AI, how they're using it. Our reporter, when they were there, there is no AI. It is just that old traditional announcement that, so and so's mother is standing at gate number 3. Please, so and so, go meet her there. That is their AI.
Or maximum, they could have CCTV cameras with face detection.
People were telling us that sometimes we are having to make the announcement ourselves, because there's just so much of, this is so disorganized.
This is the same point I was trying to bring in, that any religious congregation of this kind or even smaller. I've been to Sabrimala because you can only as a girl enter it before puberty, and at that age when I entered, I remember being massively scared because the entrance to Sabrimala, if you know the 18 steps that you have to climb, so narrow, and you're just pulled over it by policemen who stand there and all of that. And being split from your parents is so easy because as a kid you don't know you can't even see people in that crowd, and any such religious gathering is all fertile ground for these kind of stampedes. And it is only in last year that Sabrimala finally started online registration. 80k people will be given darshan in a day, 80,000 people, and they all have to online book, and with spot registration for another 10,000 people is what I think I might not have the right figures, but that's the idea that I have. And that kind of a crowd regulation. So when somebody I wanted to go, he said, oh, I didn't get a booking, but somebody else who I was planning to go with got a booking, and so he's going. I'll have to wait for next week or the week after that to get a registration for myself done. So that kind of some regulation of how many people can land up at a place, and whether it will be within the governments and the administrative forces control to regulate that kind of a thing. Manisha, is anything of that kind being done at the Kumbh?
No, and that is the fundamental question we need to ask of the Yogi government. That look, since in the lead up to the Kumbh, for at least 3 months, they have been inviting people. Come, everyone, come. We're going to break records. It's going to be the best Kumbh that India has ever witnessed. It's almost as if the BJP invented the Kumbh. The advertising was such, and every day, right before till the stampede, the administration was just busy asking people to come. that so many crore people are going to come, we're going to break a world. I think all they were thinking was, how do we break the world record? For which world, I don't know. Who cares?
But everything about this government is like that, right? We are the biggest, we're the grandest, we're the best.
There's a very sad video of a young girl from Karnataka who made her way. And I think right before her death, there's a little reel that she's done. It kind of went viral after it was found that she didn't survive. She's just appealing to people that don't come. It's very crowded. It's very scary. My God, the number of reels I have seen of people just alerting each other on Instagram saying that, if just don't come here, it's not organized, you'll have to walk a lot, it's quite scary here, things are not organized well. So, my point is that, you go on this PR blitzkrieg, people put faith in your PR, people put faith in your marketing, your advertising, and they die because of that. So, that question has to be asked of you, why on earth were you inviting people if you couldn't handle it?